So yeah, I have started the recording. So hello everybody, my name is Maria. I'm a journalist and co-founder of PR agency Interstellar Digital, and today we have the CEO of Jointer, Yoda, and pleased to meet you. We are going to discuss the most frequently asked questions about Jointer. So I'm going to ask you the questions people sent previously, and hopefully you'll answer.
Yeah, sure. Great.
Okay, let me start. Sorry, just need 1 second to open the questions because it's appears that I can't. It's not that easy when you are recording. So the first question is from Jenilyn Liria. And this question is, what makes this project Jointer different from others like Uniswap or Pancake? Plus, knowing there are many similar projects, what is Jointer's advantage in the crowded DeFi market?
Yeah, sure. So, okay. So first, let's try to understand what is Uniswap, Pancake, and everybody else. Um, um, those projects that you mentioned, they're basically a platform that people can come over and open pools, right? Those pools been designed to allow unlimited liquidity and infinity of liquidity. And the main idea is that when project want the user to buy tokens, and there being some kind of imposition that it may not have liquidity on secondary market. So they put some liquidity in a contract, so users do not need to go to secondary market and basically sell peer-to-peer. In that case, they're selling peer-to-contract. And the idea of the infinity liquidity is that if you're selling your token to the contract, the value of the token, the contract go down, and that can solicited arbitrage player, like market maker player, in order to buy that token on the ground floor and put it back in place. Over the last few months, people find a backdoor to that basic idea by saying, if you will continue to buy this token, even above the secondary market, I will compensate you with my native token, which is, let's say, comps, if you're familiar with the Compine project, right? So what you received here is a scenario that if people continue to buy from the contract, the price go up. And that's very scary. Why it's very scary? Because it's kind of like a Ponzi scheme, right? The first people that buying in the ground floor, they're receiving the token in what it's supposed to be, and then those that coming later, increasing and pumping the value of the token to the sky, and there is significant appreciation, like could be even 10,000x, right? But those that bought earlier have the ability now to cash out. They have the ability to sell the token back to the contract, scoop all the profit and run away. Obviously, the person that opened the project from the beginning, holding the key, what is called relay token, which is the ownership of the pool. And he can actually use that relay token in order to scoop the entire token and scoop the entire profit and do exit scam and run away completely. So what I'm trying to say is that there is nothing wrong by building project that bring profit to people, but there is absolutely wrong about building something that whoever come last is the one that pay the price, right? And all those projects leaving non-sophisticated people with losses. Sometimes you see a project jumping to the roof and then a few days later crashing to the floor, and you scratch your head and say, where'd the money gone? How it's crashed 80%, right? And it's crashed 80% because if it can scale overnight, it can crash overnight. And what makes Jointer different is that we actually built in the 1.5 years 52 different smart contracts on top of those basic pool. And by the way, what's funny about it is that back then we didn't know that it's going to be called DeFi. There was no DeFi, right? We worked on it, we worked on it, and suddenly DeFi come along, right? And we scratch our head and say, what's going on? Everybody start to go to that direction, but we look at it and we are saying everybody doing it wrong. Because what we created is 52 smart contracts that basically interact with each other in a way that makes sure that even if someone come late, is not the one that's going to pay the price. And the reason that is not the one that's going to pay the price is because we find a way how to prevent from the price go down. Now, it's not something that we do. It's completely decentralized and it's been triggered by the people, for the people, using the smart contract. So it's kind of, we didn't find a way how to increase the value of the token. We just find a way how not to let it go down. So think about it. Usually in the stock market, there is index called S&P 500, right? Probably you heard about that.
Of course.
It's not the best investment in the world, right? It's generating 6-7% every year, right? But every day, it's going up, down, up, down, up, down. If somebody will find a way without human being interact, right? Completely decentralized way that preventing from the down happening, by the end of the year, it will be the most successful project in the world. And this is what we've been able to achieve with Jointer. We find a way how the value of the Jointer token can never go down. Absolutely, it's impossible from mathematical and from smart contract point of view. It's impossible. And it's been proven because right now we're doing soft launch and we're testing everything. Not just we tested it earlier on the testnet, and not just we done, I think, 12 different auditing. We actually tested it right now as we speak during the soft launch before it's going to boom. And we see that every direction, no matter what we're doing, the price cannot go down. It's fixed himself back to the same place that it was. And that's what's beautiful about it, because it's protecting people. And I believe that if you're building a project, what really makes the difference between one project to another is that know how small few of people make money, but how the majority of the other people don't lose in it. Right? And this is all about if you're looking at a long-term relationship.
So you're saying that it's not non-speculative DeFi, and also like we had a lot of questions like what is the Jointer, your asset JNTR target price till the end of the year?
Yeah, so, okay. So usually when you have, let's talk about it because that's fascinating. I will be honest here with you, Maria. I hate cryptocurrency. Right? I'm probably the only person on earth that think that Bitcoin is big no-no, right? It's great that somebody invent the telegraph, fantastic. But for now, people using iPhone, you know, the life need to move. And whatever you develop in the ground floor, it's not necessarily what you're going to use in the future. And the reason I don't like cryptocurrency is because they are big bubbled backed by thin air. And I don't like to go to Vegas, I don't like to gamble, and I definitely don't like to take risks, right? And I don't think that people that engaging with our project need to become to be a gambler either. I think what we need to do is to use this concept that called blockchain to create something that is really worth something, and it can scale even better than Bitcoin, but in a way that it cannot crash like it was nothing, right? And if someone will be able to pull the trigger and create something that is better than Bitcoin, but cannot crash like it was nothing, that will be very interesting, revolutionary, right? It will be very interesting product. And what we create with Jointer, when you ask me what is Jointer, Jointer is just one project of many that about to come. And Jointer is first of its kind token that is not a security meaning that you don't need to be accredited investor in order to invest in it, but it actually backed by asset in a very regulated, in a very compliant way, which means non-accredited investor, retail client can buy into Jointer, and Jointer is actually back in the back door in a very compliant way with security that preventing that from the value to be zero. And not only that, the smart contract himself, they're not allowed to the token to go down below what is already achieved. So on top of that, there is kind of few layers that make sure that the value of the jointer will keep going up. And what's make unique jointer is not just that it's designed for the cryptocurrency to be non-security, but really not just like a typical cryptocurrency. What's really beautiful about jointer is that for the first time ever, it's bringing the traditional market, like the traditional real estate industry, the traditional institutional, right? It's bring that industry and then bring that cryptocurrency new industry into some kind of correlation, into some kind of a symbiosis relationship that one basically benefit the other without even notice, right? So for example, the reason that the jointer token is backed by asset is because it's using the only way of payment to buy a different type of coin that belongs to accredited investor and a real estate player, which is basically ETN and stock. So nobody can buy jointer stock and jointer ETN with fiat money or with Bitcoin or with Ethereum. You have to use the jointer in order to do that. It's like imagine to yourself that tomorrow morning Uber said to you, listen, from now on, we do not accept Visa. We do not accept MasterCard, only Uber token, right? So you do understand that Uber cannot become to be zero absolute, right? Because people need to use it, right? So we have basically another type of tokens that designed for the regulated market, designed for the real estate market, designed for institutional, but they cannot buy it. The only way that they can buy it is that if they will buy the jointer token. So the jointer token is the way of payment to buy those tokens, right? That's one thing. Another thing is that the reason that the people need it in order to buy it is not just because it's a way of payment and it's serving the crypto market as an asset back, but also if someone buying security token, it doesn't have liquidity in the market today, right? There is no liquidity. So if we using the jointer token as the only way of buy, the people that buying the stock will have a liquidity. So what I just told you is that the traditional market enjoying from liquidity and the crypto market enjoying from security. So we kind of flipped the sides and took whatever benefit each one of them have and whatever kind of disadvantage that they have and flipped the side and allow them each other to enjoy from other position, from the other position or benefit. So the regular real estate or tokenization market do not have liquidity and the crypto market do not have a security. So we've been able to flip between those two negative positions and serve each other. So both of them will enjoy from high position by serving each other, like a symbiotic relationship. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I hope that everybody else kind of had an idea what exactly prevent jointer price of falling down.
Yeah, I can kind of try to explain that. So the idea, okay, the idea of the pools is that when you have, if you're thinking about DeFi that acting with on Uniswap, right? They have pools, and every time someone contribute to the pools, is basically put tokens in and take money out, right? So the number of the token go up and then the money go out, right? So that's make the value of the token less and make the money worth more. And when the other thing happening, when somebody take token out but add money in, the value of the money become to be less and the value of the token become to be more, right? So what we've been created some kind of a circulation smart contract that their job is to feed the main reserve, the pool, back to the same place that it was, but it's work in the same way as an infinity, which means if I can imagine that to you, think about ATM for a second, right? Imagine that you go to the ATM and you want to take most of the money because you need it, right? And the next guy in line is after you. Theoretically, he should be left with nothing, right? But imagine to yourself that somehow the ATM refill himself, right? And he's not get damaged because you just need money, right? So what we created is a pools that get feeded automatically and returned, right? Refixed to the same place that it was. So the next guy in line that want to redeem do not have a slip and damage the slippage but it's not going to affect whatsoever the next guy behind you.
Okay, and I think with this you have answered the question like how Jointer is different from Uniswap. And the next question is from Dan Albura. I hope I pronounced it right. What are the future use cases of this syndication model? Why did you choose Binance Smart Chain instead of Ethereum?
Oh, right. It's very simple logic. So we start with Ethereum. We actually deploy all the smart contract into Ethereum and even spend $7,000 just to do that, right? Because it's very costly with the gas. And then we realized, just a second, if the DeFi really going to work, right? And people going to keep coming in, because right now it's a very small community. That means that the gas will go up. That means that it will be limited to rich people. People will not go to the DeFi to contribute $100 if the cost to do that will be $200, right? It doesn't make sense. And it's causing a bid war that everybody want to pay more gas in order to get first in the ground floor because it's a Ponzi concept, right? So that's why we said we need to allow people faster way. It's not make sense that you send your order and it's stuck for 12 hours, right? And it doesn't make sense that you want to contribute $100 and pay $200. And we realized that Binance Smart Chain have basically those two advantage, right? They have the advantage of speed and they have the advantage of cost for the end user. And every time we build something, we try to think not how it's benefit us. We try to think how it's benefit the end user. And that being said, we also create a smart swap that is the world's first technology that allow user to move by one click of a button. They can swap the jointer from the Binance side to the jointer to the Ethereum side and vice versa. And they don't even, so for example, in a few days, we're about to launch in the smart swap the BNB and the Ethereum, right? So people will be able to move between BNB Ethereum from ERC20 to BAP20, and they don't need to sign up. They don't need to do KYC. They don't need to if I have Ethereum and I want BNB, I don't need to also have BNB in order to pay the BNB gas. No, I will just send Ethereum and I will pay my BNB gas with Ethereum. And the other way around, if I have BNB, I will pay the Ethereum gas with my BNB. So it's a very simple way that we created in order to simplify that for user. And we believe that sooner or later, nobody will care which network are you. I mean, you have fun. Nobody asking you, hey, are you T-Mobile? Are you TNT? Who cares? Today it's not relevant. And that's what's going to happen tomorrow. Nobody cares. The moment that the bridge will be set, nobody care which network you're coming from anymore, right? So it's irrelevant. I know that Ethereum was kind of the big brother that helped everybody out to start, but that's not the future. The future, nobody going to care which network you belong to, just how good your project is. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. And another question is from Keith Parsons. Are there any plans for implementing other coins into the smart swap, cross-blockchain swap, which Jointer has, like Litecoin, BCT, TRX, etc., other than wrapping set tokens? If so, when? If not, why?
So let's talk about that for a second. Our smart swap is not a wrap, right? We're not wrapping anything, right? It's very important to understand because a lot of people do not understand regulation. When you take a token, right? Let's say I'm taking a Ethereum or Bitcoin and I create another token to peg to those tokens, like a wrap. This makes that token a derivative. Derivative mean security. Security mean accredited investor only, which means whoever doing those stuff, maybe right now the SEC don't care because they're too small, but they're not in a rush. They can come after 7 years and put them in jail. Once they will become to be big and it will be nice for the news, they will come after them, right? So the point is that when people do stuff, they need to make sure that it's long-term relationship. And I want to say another thing about that, because it's so important for people that play around with all the government tokens, right? Everybody excited, I got Uni, I have a vote, right? I want to make sure that people understand what that means, having a vote. When people go to Uniswap, right, and there is the pool that I mentioned, and they play with that, this is a very beautiful, ground area for money laundering, right? So anti-money laundering, because someone can come with few wallets. One will be clean wallet that he is investing like every one of us, and then it will come with dark wallet with dirty money, which you will invest to, and then the
Sorry, Yoda. I don't know if it's
the
problem.
profit on it. Now,
Yeah.
regulation understand that. That's why I recently started to talk about KYC ML, if you heard in the news, right? That it doesn't going to play along, that all those platforms allow people to do it without KYC ML. Now, what is the risk here for people? It's very important. The risk is that all those players, some of them are the same. My name is Pizza, right? So the point is that the government have a law called RICO, which is designed for crime organization, and they can go after every person in Earth that holding the Uniswap government token and claim them as a part of organization crime, and they can charge them with those charges like it was organization crime. So my suggestion to people, before you're rushing in to make a buck, make sure that it's not going to fire back on you, right? It's very important to work with projects that know what it's doing. It's very important to work with projects that they are aiming for long term. I think one of the questions that you ask is, what's the jointer price range that we think it's going to be in 1 year? And based on simulation that we run, we saw that the jointer can hit between 200 to 1000x. Jointer could be between $2 to $10 range in 1 year long. It's better than any cryptocurrency out there. But it's very clear to understand, jointer cannot jump overnight 10,000x. Actually, we place limitation that it cannot even cross the 120%, right? So jointer scaling every day, but as a component, if you're looking on the last few weeks, it made more than 4,000%, right? So over the year, it will be the most powerful, probably token in the industry, but not overnight. We don't play overnight. We don't have overnight magic hocus pocus, right? Yeah. But as a long term, it can play very well, better than everybody else.
What do you think? How long will be this term we're talking about?
Say it again.
How long? You said like it's in the long term. How long will be this period?
I give you an expectation that we run a test simulation, tons of simulation, and we saw that in 1 year, right, 12 months, jointer token can reach between 200x to 1000x.
Okay.
Right, so it's a massive appreciation.
Yeah, and we actually have a question in the chat right now here. It's from Tolga Ozek. I don't know how to pronounce. I'm really sorry, guys. What do you think about real estate giants like Coldwell Banker, etc., will react on real estate based on blockchain system?
Yeah, so let's talk about that too. So I think I have a famous quote that to say that mass adoption is when the public basically receiving what they're looking for without knowing that they even got it, right? And the problem with commercial real estate is that until today it was belong to the rich people, belong to those that know how to run the numbers, belong to those that know the deal before everybody else. It's kind of a hush-hush industry that if you're close to the table, you get a piece of that, right? So even though it's like that, it's still a $14 trillion market, right? It's the massive market. I think it's the oldest market in the world. But that being said, it's not really democratized. It's not democratized. It's not open to mom and pop. It's not open to Joe Schmo. And that's unfair. It's unfair that people put money in the bank, get close to nothing, and the banking institution take that money and using it in order to make a fortune. So what I believe should be, I believe the entire real estate industry should not do syndication, should not do fundraising. They should get money from one source. So for example, jointer offering to building and properties one check. Instead of going syndicate money from many, many investors, we say to them, why do you need it? Get one check from jointer. We will become to be joint venture partnership with you. And on the other side, we will allow the entire world to buy into jointer, right? So people will have liquidity, people will have the freedom to invest even $1. And the property do not need to deal with liquidity. The property do not need to deal with all the bunch of the people that coming in to the cap table. And by doing it like that, we actually open the door. We open the door to regular people, even unaccredited investor using the jointer, and everybody can get a piece from the real estate. So if you ask me what's the future of the real estate, the future of the real estate is that nothing much going to change over there beside the fact that they will get one check from one source. Or if you want me to give you an example of what I mean, think about when you want to buy a house and you go to the bank to take a mortgage. You don't go to your neighbor and say, give me $100, and another neighbor, give me another $100 and syndicate $100, right? You don't do that. You go to the bank to get one check. But what about the down payment? So let's say you get from the bank 80%, 70%, 90%. But the rest of the money, there is no source for one check yet, right? You have to syndicate that or bring that money by yourself to the table. So we want to act like the bank that give you one check for the mortgage and syndicate behind the scene all the money from regular people. We want to be the company that give you the other check that needed. So you will not even need to syndicate money for that either, right? So it's kind of going to be for you easygoing, better than anything that exists today. So I don't think the commercial real estate industry need to even merge into the blockchain. I think the blockchain can come and be part of that without them even notice. It's like you're sitting in your house and the electricity company changed, the computer. Who cares? Who cares? You just want electricity, right? Mm-hmm. Those that have a real estate do not care about all those nonsense. All they care about is to fundraise money. If the money comes with one check, two check, five check, with this foundation, that foundation, this blockchain, not blockchain, they don't care about any of that, right? So the end game is that you need to always remember that when people go to marketplaces, so for example, even when you're thinking about startup go to some marketplaces to find investor, right? Mm-hmm. If I will ask you what startup you're looking for, you will say to me, simple, they're looking for an investor. I will ask you what investor you're looking for. You say simple, they're looking for startup. And both answer will be wrong. Startups do not look for investor. They're looking for money. Investors do not look for startup. They're looking for high return, less risk, right? Everybody wants something and everything between is just a tool. So why do we need to play with tool? Why not go to the chess, cut to the chess and give everybody the end game, what they're really looking for? Exactly. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
And I think I can quote here, you know whom? I think I can quote here Henry Ford. You know, Henry Ford invent the car. So when Henry Ford invent the car, he been asked about it, and he say, if I will ask people what is it that they need, they will say to me, a fast way to move. If I will ask them what that means, they will say more horses. They don't even thinking about something else, right? Everybody thinking how to take the process that exists today, which is broken, and try to make it more transparent, more faster, whatever, right? Who need that process? People need the end game. They don't need anything between. Anything between is just a waste of time.
Yeah, I hope we answered the question of Tolga, and we have another question in the chat. Yeah, you can ask question now. Just type it in because I muted everyone because it's not good when we hear that somebody, I don't know, having coffee or whatever you do. So just type your questions in the chat and it will be nice. We have 10 more minutes left, by the way. The question I had before is for Ackerman Levi, if I pronounced correct. How can you assure people that Jointer is a good coin to buy? Is the project still continuously developing? Are there more features to add?
Yeah, so, okay, so
You already kind of said
when sophisticated people been asked about blockchain project, they usually don't ask. They go to read the contract, right? But most of the people, they cannot do that, right? So most of the people cannot really read the smart contract and see if it's good, not good.
Yeah, but
so
also
I will answer that. I will answer that. I will say that there is three types, in my opinion, in life, right? There is those that they are first adopter, and the one that's willing to take the chances on something new and to be the first to try it out. There's those that coming afterward, after everybody already know about it, right? And it's all over the news. And there is those like my mother that will never come in, going in, no matter what, right? So variety of people, right? Those that don't care, those that care much, and those that wait for validation from everybody, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, when we realized that this is the case, I didn't want to benefit the first adopter, right? I didn't want to say, hey, if you come as a first adopter, you made 10,000x, and whoever come last, there is nothing left on the table. We build a project that is keep going. So my suggestion for people is that if you don't feel confident that Jointer is a home run and a winner, don't invest. Don't invest. Obviously, if you're investing, invest what you can afford to lose, but don't invest if you're not sure. There is always a way to come later and invest in us, right? If you're a believer, you can come in the ground floor and just enjoy from, appreciation, but it's ongoing project. We are not here to build something that's going to jump overnight and thereafter to crash, and just the first quicker, fingers that out there will be enjoyed from that. We build something for long run in order to serve those that also do not jump first. And that's fine. I'm understanding that. I'm in the favor of those people that they need validation, and it's completely okay for them to come afterward, and after they will see maybe 4,000% is not enough to present. Maybe they need us to do 400x first, right? And then they will come. So whatever people feel comfortable that that's enough for them, I inviting them to come in. But I don't think they should search for guarantees, because even our project that is a very low risk in the way that it's designed, I cannot even dare to say the word it's risk-free. There is no such kind of a thing free, right? There is risk always. Maybe I didn't thought about something, right? So there is always risk. So those that they are more afraid, I suggest that they will wait. Those that they are more adapter and more like to try out to be the first to be part of something big, I invite them to join in yesterday.
Okay, but there was a part of question which asked about, like, are you still developing Jointer and other features to come, which we don't know about?
So we have a lot of stuff. Obviously, I cannot say any of those before it's hitting the market. When it comes to Jointer, I can talk about other companies that we have, subsidiary companies, but when it's come to Jointer, I cannot say what is it that we're about to go with. I will say about it the moment that it's hit the market. The moment that we will turn it on, I will notify in our Telegram channel that is live and it's open and people will know about it. So you probably will not going to hear from me. We're about to launch something tomorrow that is relevant to Jointer, right?
Yeah, so you only tell about it when you actually launched it, right?
Yeah, yes. But I can definitely, without disclose what we're doing, I can tell you that there's tons of feature and stuff, and it's blowing mind how beautiful it's going to be. It's going to be fantastic. The relationship, the stuff, whatever, the marketing even not started yet. The PR didn't not started yet. Nothing started yet. Right now we just pre-launch. It's kind of a soft launch. We're testing everything, right? So it's 4,000% during testing.
Yeah. Okay, we have the questions in the chat, but actually you answered it before. So guys, you probably will need to see the recording. It's again the question about jointer token price. And Yoda already said it, why it will not go down. And what another good question in the chat, what is your view on the current DeFi hype cycle? I like this question.
Say again, what is the question?
What is your view on the current DeFi hype cycle?
All right, so I will say that like that. There is a lot of projects that coming in and they call themselves fruit that and veggie that and some pizza that, and you're thinking about there's nothing behind it, right? There's nothing. It's just a food title with some cartoon behind it that claim that it's hiding, and when you have a project without nothing behind it, right? It doesn't make sense that the project will survive. You cannot create something out of nothing and hope that it will be long run. If people is in the game to get in, get out, and leave other people without nothing, or maybe to take the risk without nothing, yeah, you can go after those fruits. But I'm warning you. I mean, when you have so much food on the table, somebody needs to pay the bill, right? There is no free meals, right? Somebody needs to pay that. And it's very risky. I think when you go in after DeFi, you need to look for projects that really been built around something that makes sense. If someone disrupting the real estate, something disrupting the mortgage, it's something disrupting the startup industry, something disrupting the movies industry, it's something disrupting the student loan industry. If someone disrupting something that is existing life and is bring better way how to do that, and you have an evidence that this industry exists, there is demand and there is needs, so you may say, hey, I'm investing in something in the ground floor that tomorrow can take the market. If you're investing in a fruit, I don't see fruit market, right? In the DeFi, there is no financial industry for fruit here. It's just a gambling. Maybe they want to disrupt Vegas, I don't know, but it's very dangerous for people, and I'm not about don't go and invest. I'm just saying invest whatever you can afford to lose, and make sure that if you are planning for long-term meaning that you are not in control every 24 seconds to check what's going on with your tokens, right? If you just put it there and you go to sleep, don't do that. Do not go to project, put your token and go to sleep if they are not being created for long-term, because they can go up and go down very easily, right? By a few minutes or few hours. So you don't want to be caught during the nighttime when you sleep, right? And get up in the morning and realize that you lost your mother house, right? So be careful with that. That being said, I think that, you know what people say about PR, that every PR, even a bad one, is a basically good one. So I think with all the nonsense about all the bad projects, which there is tons of them, I think eventually they're contributing for something. They contribute to regulation, to fix themselves. They're causing to more players to put money and build real project. And like anything that it was in the past, if you're thinking about the bubble that was in 2000, right? A lot of startups been crashed, but a lot of other startups grow out of this crash and become to be unicorn as we know them today. So from every cycle, even the last one, the ICO, we have Binance, right? We have other projects. So from every wave, we kind of been left with few great projects that continue to serve the industry. So I think if you've been able to identify something that survived, can you imagine yourself investing in Binance in the ground floor, right? Or investing in Ethereum in the ground floor? So if you can identify the project that can survive, that's a real ticket. That's a real winner ticket. That's not flipping your money on fruit. That's a home run, right?
Exactly.
So you just need to identify the project that can survive after the DeFi cycle is over.
Okay. And we have another question in the chat. Do you think that doing it in Binance Chain will bring your investors an edge? If yes, what are those?
Let's see, what the question again?
Do you think that doing it, like doing jointer in Binance Chain will bring your investors an edge? If yes, what are those?
Okay, so I don't believe that one network is better than another for the long term, right? I said I think the temporary Binance Smart Chain have advantage over Ethereum because of the speed and the cost, but Ethereum have advantage over the Binance because most of the money is over there, right? And what we decided when we going to put jointer, we decided what do we want to do? We want to put jointer on the Ethereum side where all the money is, or we want to put jointer on the Binance side when we can serve the user from speed and low cost point of view. And we decided to put jointer on the Binance side, but to build a bridge to the Ethereum so people can invest basically with Ethereum, right? So we knew that we're capable to do that. Other projects do not have it, but soon we will allow other people to use it too. And if we build that bridge between Binance to Ethereum, from my perspective, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're AT&T and I'm T-Mobile and I'm calling you. Who cares, right? It doesn't matter anymore. As long as there is a bridge for us to talk, nobody care about all those stuff anymore.
Okay, yeah, I think we've talked about it before. Maybe one last question. It's also in the chat. What are the plans to educate and raise awareness and adoption among the community to make more people understand about the project easily?
Yeah, so we come up with something that I hope that it will help, that you will help. It's called BOGO airdrop. So the BOGO airdrop, BOGO is standing for buy one, get one, right? So the BOGO airdrop is different than airdrop because usually when you're doing an airdrop, you're giving token for free to people, and then there is a statistic. Some of them basically just go and rush in order to cash it out, and they're reducing the pool of the liquidity to others. And we try by doing airdrop on the Pancake swap, and we realized that people build the boats, right? They have boat that open a lot of wallets, and then when they receive a little bit token from each wallet, they aggregate all the tokens into one big wallet, and they come and dry out 50% of the fund, right? And that was unfair. I think it's kind of a stealing. It's a fraud. I mean, we try to do something nice for people, and there is mean people that abuse that concept. So we come up with something else that's called BOGO. And the BOGO means that we will send to people, let's say, $50 value of tokens to their wallet. And we will do it with your community too. So everybody that you will give us his address will get $50 value of tokens. But they will not be able to access that $50 value of tokens unless they will invest in the Pancake swap or the Uniswap $50 value of tokens too, and then they will have 100. Once they have 100, they can decide to sell, to keep, to hold, to spend. There is no limitation what they can do with that. They can immediately sell it if they want. But we believe that if people will need to spend money, right, and they will have more, I think that will bring us the quality of the people and kind of leave outside all the bot, because the bot will have a little bit difficulty to come up with tens of thousands of dollars in order first to invest and then cash out, right? So it's kind of going, hopefully, it's going to remove all those abusers and keep the benefit of the tokens for those that want to try out Jointer. And by the way, it can serve the people that say, you remember that we talked earlier about those that say, I don't know if I should come first or later or never, right? We said there was three types. So I think if someone receiving airdrop, BOGO airdrop, they will be able to get and see day by day how the token behave, right? They will be able to see it. Actually, if someone will go to Jointer, I think there is here on my shirt, right? Can you see my shirt?
Yeah, of course, we all can see it.
Right? Yeah, so if someone will go to Jointer.io, it will be able to see the auction running, and you will be able to see the value of the token where it start. I think it was start from 0.001, right, like 1 cent, and now it's above 40 cents, right? So people can actually see that the token every day, and there is a full disclosure and transparent day by day, so they can see that the token designed in a way that it's like an AI, like machine learning that fix themselves. There is a 52 smart contract that fixing the price, fixing the supply, fixing the relationship between all the parties. And again, we don't do anything. Theoretically, we don't have even one part in our company that is centralized. I mean, I can shut down the company right now, and the system will keep going forever. It's completely standalone, decentralized. Nobody can shut it down. And you can see that it can work by itself, and it will provide liquidity and provide appreciation on an ongoing basis, no matter what the market will do. Doesn't matter if the real estate will crash or jump. Doesn't matter if the market, as a crypto market, will jump or crash. The system, the jointer system, do not care about all those facts, right? It keeps going forward in a way that it's been designed. So I think it's the world's first technology ever that I feel comfortable that is not speculative. You know, it's not gambling. It's not, I hope that the token, we know for sure what's the range of the token will be. We don't know exactly, but we know the range, right? We know how much it will be no matter what. But it's not something that you can say about every token in the world. Every token in the world, you don't know. You hope. You hope that the Bitcoin will hit 20,000, or every second there's someone come up with different number, like 1 million. But from where that number came from, right? There is no logic for that, right? And behind jointer, there is a very massive logic. There is a lot of reverse financial engineering here that took behavior, and there is a game theory, how it's been built, and make sure that people will be able to be part of that, right, on ongoing basis. And what's beautiful about it, and let me tell you a secret, right? I will tell you a secret about the system that people can pay attention to that. It's very, very fascinating. There is the jointer token, which is the main token, right? The primary token. But also there is jointer B, which is on the Binance side, and there is the jointer E, which is on the Ethereum side. Another one may be more or not, right? But right now there is the primary and jointer B and jointer E, correct? Now, the jointer himself cannot go down. It's designed in a way that no matter what you're going to do, it's always going to fix himself and go back to the same place that it was after redemption. So it cannot go down. The other two, they're completely free. They can go up, down, whatever the market wants, right? Now, that's the secret I'm about to tell you. If the jointer token is 40 cents, right? And the other tokens in the market, let's say below 40 cents, let's say they are 10 cents, right? So the moment the jointer will start to be on secondary market and there will be liquidity, people can buy from the 10 cent and sell it for the 40, correct? Because we allow a swap, same face value. The moment that the secondary market will go up above, let's say will be 60 cents or 80 cents, and jointer will be 50 cents or 60 cents, people will rush into the auction to buy it from the auction and sell to the secondary market. So it's an endless relationship between all those smart contract and all those secondary markets, in a way that there will be always liquidity. And because the market, the jointer himself as a primary cannot go down, what that means is that it's going to pull out all the other pools in the world. So if you want simple explanation for that, imagine yourself that I open a pool on Binance, sorry, not Binance, on PancakeSwap, and then Uniswap, and then BankerSwap, and then BurgerSwap. And imagine to yourself that I allow people to sell here, buy over there by easy bridge, right? One click of swap. Do you really think that one of the token on one of the swap can be 40 cents and the other can be 2 cents? No, people will buy here, sell there, right? There will be equilibrium. Eventually people will it's like arbitrage. People will buy here, sell over there. So the moment that jointer is above all and it keeps going up, the other swap in around, besides the jointer swap, the other swap in Uniswap and PancakeSwap, they will have to be matched eventually to jointer. And since jointer cannot go down, that means that the other swap basically will try to reach out to jointer. Now, if someone's sitting and he doesn't know what's going on, and you see the Uniswap go up, and he doesn't know that someone do arbitrage to fix the price. From his perspective, he's thinking that it's booming, right? So he's coming, putting more money in, and eventually the Uniswap will go above jointer. But the moment that Uniswap will go above jointer, people will rush to the jointer auction to buy from jointer auction in order to get it cheaper to sell to the Uniswap. So it's endless a relationship in the way that there is a floor. Today in the market, in the different market, there is no floor. I think if you can take something from everything I just said during that conversation, is that every DeFi project in the market do not have a floor. There is not, even Bitcoin do not have a floor. It can crash to zero. There is no floor, right? With jointer, there is a floor. First, there is a floor because decentralized technology that do not allow the price to go down. Second, there is a floor because there is other pool that fixing the price back to where it was, with arbitrage. And third, there is a floor because it's a way of payment to buy a real estate. The moment that someone have a jointer token and they will sell it on secondary market half price, immediately a sophisticated investor will buy it and swap it to jointer stock and have 50% of the building. That's why it's not make sense to sell the jointer below the price, right? Because immediately somebody will pick it up. So this is, I cannot say the only, because I didn't examine every project in the world, but that most likely among the only project in the world that have a floor, which means price can go up, but it cannot go down because there is a floor. And that's very important for those that do not wish to lose their money. So I will finish.
Guys,
yeah, I will finish that question by saying that for all those that participate in our call today, and they're interested to make money by investing in DeFi project, I think it's nice and important to search project, short-term, long-term, whatever you're into it. But I don't think the main goal is to search how much you can gain from that. I think the first thing in priority is to see what you can lose, which project you can lose less. So if the project that can give you high return but less risk is better than high return with high risk. But there is no risk-free. Once again, there is no such kind of thing risk-free.
yeah, of
Just to
course.
be clear. Don't say I say risk-free.
And regarding like your answer to this question, people asked in the chat, like, is this BOGO airdrop still running?
Yeah, so you can, I think, I don't know what you talked with Kyle, our CMO. I think you're going to arrange for us a list of addresses from your community, right? And or something like that, and we will need to airdrop to them those BOGO tokens, right? So BOGO airdrop will go to the addresses that you will provide. Is that correct?
I don't know about myself, but I will check it with with Kyle. And yeah, it's just like the question in the chat: is BOGO airdrop still running? And I think that would be the end of our MA session for today. And thank you everybody for participation. And I saw the questions in the chat, like about some MA winner. I don't know about that, honestly, guys. You probably should contact Jointer on social media, like Facebook, and probably the most active one.
Yeah, I can share the Telegram. Jointer Telegram is jointer.io DeFi auction. So I can even share it here on the chat.
Yeah, of course, please do that, because people are very concerned. Yeah, and we will add that it's Telegram. People are very concerned how to get the award for like active participation in MA, but like, yeah, you should ask this question in Telegram chat probably, or on the Facebook in the comments. And thank you all for your active participation. And if you have any questions, you probably can go to jointer.io and read the white paper, which is really has a lot of details, I would say, or contact Jointer in social media, in Telegram chat, and you will get all the questions. Right, Yoda? Am I right?
Yes, absolutely. So I think joining the Joint.io DeFi auction on Telegram will be great because there is people over there that can help out with questions. Obviously, when it's come to the BOGO airdrop, I will let Kyle to talk with you how exactly we're going to do to your community. Eventually, I believe we'll find the list of the addresses that need to receive the $50 each. But
Yeah,
once
of
again,
course.
let you and Kyle fix that, okay?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And yeah, thank you all guys for participation. And we have now 17 people here join us, and I hope that more people will see the recording. And thank you for your time, Yoda. Thank you for your answers. And I hope you will have a good night because it's a night time in the
No,
United States.
we work in almost 24/7, so I'm waking. I kind of awake until my morning, then take a nap and start again. So
Okay,
we don't have time to
yeah,
sleep.
you're really hardworking. So for those who are in Asia, have a nice day, and for those who are in Europe, also good morning and have a nice day. Thank you so much, guys, and thank you, Jude, and yeah.
All right, Maria, thank you very